Motorsport is just as much of a team sport as any other sport that I've seen. There's 50 odd people at 888 Race Engineering, and we run 3 cars and just try to get the best result for all 3 cars. How do you motivate that group after so many years? There's no real secret, or there's no thing going on behind the scenes that we do that nobody else does. We keep it simple, and we love the aspect of motorsport, which is go out there, build a car, take it to the track, race our mates, and enjoy trying to get to the finish line before anyone else. You've got to love what you do. You've got to, in my opinion, keep it simple, but certainly love what you do and just enjoy the aspect of achieving something as a group. During my life, I've been able to do some good things individually, but there's no better feeling than being able to achieve good things with a group of people. On top of that, if they're good friends or almost family, then that also adds to the elements. To be there for your teammates, you've got to care for them. And to care for them, you need to know that person. You need to know what they do, especially outside of the sport, in their personal life. So spending time with people, we've created a bit of a family atmosphere where they're not just a teammate, they almost feel like a family member, and you care for that person. So when you see them on the big day, when the tough's getting tough, and if you care for that person, you're going to be there for them and absolutely go into bat and make sure that you're right behind them, helping them out. As soon as that love's gone, it's all over. You're never going to do the all-nighters and the overtime and the thing that's involved in being a successful race team. You're just not going to do it. To get a car to the finish line just for one, but ahead of everyone else, there's so many elements involved. So it's quite complex. There's the driving element, there's all the fuel economy stuff, there's checking, making sure the car's running properly. There's a strategy, trying to get in and out of the pits at the right time, get the right tyres on the car, looking at the weather, is the rain coming, is it not? There's so much involved. So yeah, the team need to work together, and we need to trust each other. Yeah, we can question each other and offer up some advice at the time, but once someone's made the decision, that's what's happening, and we respect that decision. If we all perform at an okay level, then yeah, we'll run 5th or 6th or so. If some of us perform really well, yeah, you might get on the back of the podium, but to win the race, to beat everyone else, who are all very, very slick outfits, they're all battling as hard as they possibly can. To beat the rest of the field, everyone has to be performing at an unbelievably high level. We all know that, and everyone, on those days, everyone raises each other up, but everyone wants to make sure that they perform at what the standard that the team has set. And those days when we all know we've stepped up and then got the end result, it's a money can't buy experience. There's a fuel race, so you've got to get to the end. So that fuel number is critical, you know what I mean? So if you make it to the end, if you take the risk and go, we're not pinning again, we get to the end. The person that's running those fuel numbers, they feel like they've had the win. They feel like they've had the win more than anyone else. So they're just like, you know what I mean? That they've got massive satisfaction. You don't need to go up to that person and go, hey, you were involved in that, they know. Yeah. Or the pit stop guy, if we've jumped someone, say we've jumped someone in the pits, and that was at a track that it's very hard to pass, boom. That pit stop crew, they feel like they've won the race more than. Now, of course, we all contribute, but they feel top of the world. It's not like we go up to the boys, hey, that pit stop won you the race, they know that. The people in the accounts department, we can't go racing, we can't afford to build the cars and buy the tyres. So they understand how critical and how important they are to the team. So it's fairly automatic that when we do get a result, everyone knows that they've contributed. They've brought the best of their knowledge to the table. It's been considered, and then that's all part of the big picture and trying to get us to the finish line first. And when we do achieve that, then everyone knows they're massive involved. Day one, guys and girls have spent 2 months. Like I say 2 months, just 2 months rolls off the tongue pretty easy, but 10 o'clock most nights for probably 5 weeks straight. So no weekends, so 5 straight. So much personal sacrifice away from their family to get these cars ready to go. Day one, I stuff it in the fence pretty hard, and just completely right off the whole left-hand side of the car. I felt pretty gutted with this $500,000 piece of machinery that everyone's worked so hard to build, and I've pretty much destroyed the thing, you know. But the motivation I got back from those guys, they're like, mate, you're on a purple sector. Purple sector is a fast sector. You're doing your job. Your job is not to worry about how expensive the car is or what work's going on. Your job is to go there and go as hard as you possibly can. You were trying to do that, mistakes happen, we move on, you know. So they give me massive motivation, and I jumped in the car the next day and just went as hard as I could through that corner again, you know. And if it happened again, so be it. That's my job, is to go flat out. And then yeah, those guys and girls just did an absolute all-nighter to get that car back on the track Saturday morning. We all did our job to get back out there, and there's been 5 or 6 times over my career where that's actually happened. And looking back, it's one thing I'll remember for a long time. Those days where we at all costs got the car back on the circuit. We all see influencers deliver these big speeches, you know, and in some way that's somewhat important, but that's completely opposite to what I feel is good leadership. Good leadership is lead by example and get in there and do it. In some way, talk's cheap. Getting up in front of a group saying this is what we're going to do, that's one thing, you know, and that works at times, but we very rarely do that. It's very, very rare that somebody's given out some big words. It's quite common though that people are in there grinding it out, leading by example and showing what I believe is awesome leadership. So for me, great leadership are the small things. It's just the day in, day out, race meeting after race meeting, being there for your teammates and just showing this is what it's all about. Well, you don't see that unless you're actually involved. You're actually in there as part of that team. When you're on the outside looking in, you see the big speeches, you know, and that's publicised. You see the guys at halftime, you know what I mean? You're just smashing the paper. You see all those things, but now I understand it. I don't see that as great leadership. You know, I don't see influencers that can talk really well as great leaders, especially within a sporting environment. Probably mainly within a sporting environment. Politically, yeah, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? But in a sporting team, it's what's it all about? It's the constant grind, being there week in, week out. So the great leaders you hardly even hear of. Growing up, you'd see leadership as the big speech, you know, the big hierarchy, standing in front of everyone, motivating people, and that's got its place. Certainly I've got it, but you see people that need motivating, then absolutely a great speech can motivate people, you know. But the more I've grown up and the more I've been around my race team and seen leadership, the more I believe in just getting in there and getting it done and leading by example, which is the big one. And it automatically happened through my motorsport career and working with my current team. But it wasn't really until I started my own small business washing cars down the road, employing 40 people, that I really started to understand those concepts and why they existed, and really started to think about why is leading by example so important rather than a fantastic speech, you know. So it wasn't until the last couple of years that I fully understood it, but I was certainly involved in it for the last 10 or so years.